Hello, everyone, and welcome to the seventh episode of our CS:GO podcast, 808s and Beefake. I'm Jack,
I'm Tom.
and Valve just made two good decisions in a row. That's got to be a new record.
At least, without, yeah, because it depends on if you constitute decisions where they put them in and then just immediately went back or slowly went back on them.
I don't think that counts. I think they have to. I think they have to be finalized decisions.
Okay,
And
so
like,
if fixing their own mistakes doesn't count as a good decision, then yeah, it's a pretty good move.
yeah. So the two changes we're talking about are the CZ75 nerf and getting OPSkins the fuck out of the scene.
Yeah, I think everyone's been calling for the CZ nerf for so long because this gun is it's currently the most broken pistol or the most abused one at least. So we get to be happy for about 3 weeks until the pros figure out how to make the P250 fucking ridiculous.
Or the 5.7 for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. So you get just a small amount of happiness before the scene descends into chaos once again.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the CZ still sticks around because Valve just nerfed like the one shot headshot ability of the CZ. What they haven't nerfed is they still haven't nerfed the moving accuracy of the gun, which is still ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's still gonna be really good. Like it's it's a little less ridiculous now because it was insane that you could one shot headshot people with that gun because it shouldn't do that at any range. But yeah, I think it's sticking around. Like I honestly don't think the Tech 9 or the 5.7 is going to come into the game that much at all. It's
No.
just you need to hit like one more bullet.
Yeah, it's basically an M4 up close except you have like full accuracy while moving. It's pretty fucking stupid still. And
But
until
it's,
until Valve fixed the moving accuracy, it's never going to change.
yeah, I still think it's a significant nerf, but yeah, it's still going to be the probably the gunner choice in a lot of situations.
Like it's kind of the same way. Like it's really interesting to see Valve not know like in what ways their guns are fundamentally broken because they buffed the A1S, the other variant of the M4 that no one ever uses because it sucks. But they like buffed the reserve ammo, which was never the issue with the gun. When the M4 was really good in like 2014 and 2015, when it was the only one people used, it had the same number of rounds in reserve. The issue was it had the same rate of fire as the A4, and you couldn't see the tracers, and it had less recoil. Like now you just can't use the gun in close quarters because it only has 600 rounds per minute instead of the 650 of the A4.
Though I can kind of see where Valve are coming from when they only buffed a little bit is in the past they have been really very reactionary at times where they thought something was OP and so they just like fucking smashed the fuck out of it and then everyone just had to either drop it completely or redefine how it was used. So I think they're like I wouldn't be surprised if there's another A1S buff coming. It's just they wanted to sort of edge it back towards the game as opposed to doing what they did to or the reverse of what they did to like the AWP or when they brought the R8 in, how they wanted it to be and so bad they just made it ridiculous.
But I think that like them just adding 20 more bullets to the reserve isn't going to change anything because you're not affecting how the gun performs, which is the main issue. Honestly, I think that the best change that they could possibly make to the A1S is to give it like 625 rounds a minute. Because that way, it's not as good in close quarters as the A4, but it still has a better fire rate than the AK at close quarters, so you might be able to win spray battles if no one hits a headshot.
Yeah, I think there's still a while to go with that gun, but I don't know, I see where they're coming from. Like, I think it definitely still is an issue because not being able to pre-fire or getting punished harshly for spamming, especially with a gun that has no traces, was fucking like really sucked.
Yeah, I guess I just want to see it back in the game more. Like it was
Yeah,
it was
I
a
like to
nice
see a
thing to
bit
have a
more choice.
choice. Like
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's talk about the OPSkins thing next. So Richard Lewis had a really good video on this that you should watch. But the main gist of it is OPSkins got knocked the fuck out after Valve implemented a 7-day trade cooldown to prevent scamming, which is still an issue that nobody talks about but still exists. And afterwards, OPSkins used Valve intellectual property to develop express trading, which bypasses the 7-day cooldown. Valve were like, no, we're done with this. We're done fucking around with OPSkins, and basically told them you're not allowed to use any of our intellectual property, which includes the skins in the game. So they can't. There's no you can't use the Steam interface to trade skins on OPSkins anymore, which is the only way it worked. So OPSkins is basically dead now.
Yeah, they completely fucked themselves, and that's the funniest part is like Valve are willing to turn a blind eye until they put in this express trade shit, which was like solely to circumvent the 7-day cooldown. And they definitely would have seen a bit of a hit when the 7-day trading shit came in, but they were still making like a shitload of money, and they just flat out got greedy, and Valve just like smashed them back. And the funniest thing is that when it happened, they're like, "Oh, I can't believe Valve would just be trying to direct more attention towards their own marketplace. They only got rid of us because our marketplace was too good and we were a rival." And it's like first of all, it's there like you have no right to be a competitor because you're using their intellectual property and have been for fucking years and completely violating the Steam subscriber agreement. Like you're straight up breaking all the rules that Valve set on their shit,
And
and you're lucky they let you get this far.
And honestly, like the only thing that really makes OPSkins better than the Steam Marketplace is that they actually show the float values. Like if Valve showed the float values of skins on their own marketplace, there's no reason to use OPSkins in my mind. Like if your sole purpose is just trading.
Like I think Valve definitely need to improve the Steam market, like which I wouldn't be surprised if they do now, because that's one of the big things people are saying is like make the Steam market easier, or more more informative to use, and then yeah, exactly, like people aren't gonna really miss these sites as much.
Yeah, because like the float value is the biggest indicator of like just how valuable is your gun. It's not like because all field testeds are not the same. All factory used are not the same. Like the float value is a number that Valve implements, and if they don't show it, you're not getting a true representation of how valuable the gun is or the skin
You're still at a
rather.
point where you have to use a Chrome extension to see like a mass like number of float values on them.
Yeah, it's
It's a
pretty
bit stupid.
stupid.
But I think the the funny thing with OP skins is they're just like they first of all they blame Valve for not themselves because they're absolute just little rats, and they like then they start just like promoting their fucking blockchain fucking skins,
That aren't
which
even real. They're not real skins.
someone over at OPskins like did that thing where they're like, it's like, we love money, and what are the two biggest scams in or two biggest scamming systems in esports right now? It's like skin sites and crypto, and they just that thing where they fucking like mesh their hands together and they made these fucking crypto skins which you can't even use in a game. Apparently they're trying to make a launcher so you can play offline with them in games, so you kind of have something, but even then you can't. Like you will get banned if you try to go onto any actual fucking server using these skins. But I mean, as of now, I think that's all they're doing now. Because as of now, I think the bots are already all banned or
Yeah, I
locked or
mean,
whatever.
like the 21st is the cease and desist date. So, but like by the time this goes up, like all the bots are gonna be banned. Like, if you have any fucking guns in the OPSkins market, they're gone. Like you're never gonna get them back. You're
The
probably
other, sorry,
you're
sorry,
probably
go
not
on.
gonna be able to like cash out or some shit. Like I wouldn't be surprised if OPSkins ended up doing that.
Yeah, you straight up just can't cash out any. Or I think you can cash out. It's just you wouldn't be able to now because they like the. Because I know they sent out all the trade offers. Apparently, people were saying on Reddit like they just offered everyone skins back to them. But yeah, if you miss that offer, but part of that's like kind of the player's own fault. They had like several weeks to get them out, and if they didn't, it's kind of like, well,
You weren't
but
really
yeah,
paying
that gets
attention.
completely done now. But so the other thing about like the two things about Express Trade that really killed them was like one, they're just going around specifically what Valve was doing, specifically their subscriber agreement and their wishes to have the 7-day cooldown to stop scamming and that, and to some degree take away from gambling. And it came out as well that not only did OPSkins leave like also the IP on the Express Trade open so that gambling sites could use it. They went around and sent emails to every notable gambling site telling them that this was possible. As you notice, like as soon as they brought in this Express Trade shit, like every fucking little bastard site came out of the woodwork with like, "We're back. Did you miss us?" So they finally had a way to fucking do it without getting fucked anymore.
And now that way is gone. So
Because it's like it's when they changed ownership, OPSkins like told everyone like saying that they're not in bed with all these dodgy gambling sites anymore, but they definitely like they clearly are to like at least some degree where they were very obviously trying to make a service that those sites could use to because they were going to make money from it. Like it's
I mean, like Valve really do want to get like illegal gambling out of the game, but like like at what point is legal gambling going to get involved? Because like that's a whole new can of worms. And it's better for the scene, obviously, because legal anything is better for a scene than illegal anything. But like I don't know how that's gonna happen with all the countries you have to deal with, all the laws and regulations for everything that you have to deal with.
I mean, it's going to be what it is now, where a lot of these like established betting companies are allowing people to put money on it. Like, it's not going to be with skins because you can't really you can't rule over that
Yeah, like
and stop
Valve
like
don't
kids
want you to
from
do that.
fucking trading all their shit. But like, no, yeah, it's great if legal gambling comes in. Like, it's just there's so much advertising and money overall that goes into the scene.
Plus, like I like listen, as an avid sports gambler, as an avid lover of sports gambling memes, I would love esports gambling memes.
And then the like the how much meme to come back.
Exactly. I just need more memes in my life, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because if you think that I'm gonna spend my hard-earned money on my sports ego, you're goddamn wrong. I'd rather spend my money on dumber shit than that.
Yeah, the boldest bet is always like a very confident tweet nowadays anyway, because then you're not paying out of pocket, you're paying in the public realm
In the
of
clout
people
department.
making fun of you.
You're laying all your clout on the line for that take.
You can't buy clout.
All right. Anything more to say on OPSkins, or should we move on to the lands and such?
No, that's about it. Just yeah, fuck them. They're done.
All right. So, there were quite a few lands that happened in the 2 weeks, in the about 2 weeks that between these episodes. The first of which being the ECS finals. So let's talk about the winners, our boys, our Danish sons.
It's almost it's hard to talk about them continuously because they're just really fucking good, and they just remain to still be really good. Like probably the most interesting thing I think about this tournament was they did a bunch of shit with their map vetoes. Like, and it didn't always come off, but they were just really going fucking wild. Like, I think when they in that final Glaive really just like deep dicked the preparation that Team Liquid had, because I'm pretty sure that Team Liquid was prepping hard to play Inferno, and then Astralis just came in straight up, just fucking picked us too. And they were fucking like sick on Mirage as well. So I will give Team Liquid credit because they looked really good on Dust 2 for a portion there, but it's like in the end, yeah, I don't think they're expecting it, and I don't think they just can't hang with Astralis no matter the map. So it was kind of like Glaive doing some big dick plays, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah, there's like Astralis can afford to take gambles with their ridiculous map pool
Yeah.
because like almost assuredly they were going to win map 3. But
No, yeah, and like especially on because the second map, I think once they got going, they're great. But the first map really should have been like a very confident win. Like it's unreal that it got to 16-14 or 15-14 with a 1v1 to win for Astralis to take that map.
yeah, Astralis got so many bomb plants on their T side because they were up 15-4, I believe, at one point. Like they got
Yeah.
like later on in the game they got like 5 bomb plants in a row, and like some of those were like obviously you have no chance. It's just like a panic bomb plant. But like a lot like for like at least 3 of those, Astralis like just a seriously set post plant, and Liquid just came in and just like banged their heads off.
Something like the last 9 rounds, they had like 7 bomb plants, and Liquid won all of those fucking rounds until the fucking final one. But like, I I think this was like it was insane. Like it triggered me so much when I think it was like Moses tweeted something like, "Oh, can you imagine what this game would have been if Liquid pulled off one of those rounds in the first half?" And it's like, boy, are you kidding me? Like you Liquid, it was more it reminded me of like Nip Magic, but more so what they did in that second half. Like they were just pulling off Hail Mary after Hail Mary again and again on that CT side in the retakes. And like just round after round, there would be like 3 win conditions that were 50-50 at best for Liquid a lot of the time, and they would just take all 3 of them and win the round. Like there was so many points where they lose that game along the way, and it just didn't happen. Like it, I really like this Liquid team, but I don't think they really should have made that map close at all based on the quality of the CS they were playing. It was just insane, like retakes and just winning all these close situations.
I do wanna talk about the semifinal a little bit though
Yeah.
because um people need to shut the fuck up about Device not being a superstar, man. Like he dragged them kicking and screaming through that train map against FaZe on that CT side. Like
Yeah,
they
that
didn't
was
have
that was a fucking nuts map.
yeah, like I think he had like I think he had like a 20 kill CT half against FaZe on that train map. Like when they needed
Yeah.
it most. And that's the thing
Because he
about
had a horrendous T side, and he
yeah.
just picked it up really hard on CT.
Yeah, like that's the thing about superstars. Like when your back's against the wall and you need some miracle to save you, like you look to your superstar and they look to Device and he got him through. Cause my God, what Device can do on train with that op and just shut down every single avenue that FaZe want to go to, it's a skill that it's really hard to quantify. Cause like sometimes he's not like in those rounds, the impact that he gets from 1 or 2 kills is akin to like a 3K or a 4K.
It was really crazy shit as well. Like, the way they facilitated him as well. Like he could pretty much run wherever he wanted, and he had a bunch of angles he could take up. Like I remember one time he's holding Ivy, then they push up Ivy, and then he like runs into the site and like uses one of the bomb trains as an angle as his like teammates like take up close angles on Pop Dog and T-Con on the A site, and then like so when the guys start coming out of Ivy, like he's in a really, really weird angle that you're never going to expect the Opera to be, and he gets just like 2 easy kills. Like they understand what he can do, and they set him up really well. And part of that was like it was a bit of that like just like hashtag not even worried shit, because their CT side this entire LAN was fucking mind blowing,
Especially
and like I don't think they were really worried on that map, even though they only got 5 T rounds.
on the next map, on the next map on Inferno, like it's exactly that shit where you talk about the CT side. Like when the map ended 10-5, I knew that the ending score was 16-8 because I went back and watched the VOD. I was busy at the time when the map was actually airing. And like I saw
Hmm.
the score was 16-8, and I was like, "Oh, so FaZe win the pistol and then they never win a gun round because Astralis runs CT Inferno, huh?" And that's exactly what happened. Like their CT side in terms of results on that map is reminding me of like those old the old meta on Inferno in like 2014, 2015, where it's just you can't move, you can't budge. Like you try to take the sites and then you just get absolutely obliterated.
Because they have just such unbelievable crossfires on like their A site crossfire between like say the best pit player and the best site player in the game right now in Magisk and Dupree, and then over on B you've got Zip and Glaive, who aren't like the most technically gifted guys, but they're very very good at playing with nades, and they're very very good at holding and just like moving around the site and like fucking wasting a bunch of your time, and then you're always going to have device like rotating all over the map. Like it is really formidable. Like I'm just gonna, cause I have a few stats of them in general, like mostly the CT side things, but this is just how good they were. It says like, so before that Dust 2 in the final, they were 54 and 14 on all their CT sides for the map, which yeah, like 75%. And after that Dust 2, where they really won it on their T side, they won 70% of all CT rounds at this LAN. Also, throughout all of ECS Season 5, online and LAN, they only lost one map. They went, yeah, 23 and 1 throughout the entire like season. And that was like a 16-14 to against Mouse Sports on Mirage, when like Mouse Sports were fucking absolute gods on that map.
And it was online too.
Yeah, like they went 6-0 at the actual finals, which is insane. And also after this game, the HLTV rankings were like, so it's out of 1,000 points usually. Like Astralis were first on 1,000 points, and NaVi were second on like 574. Like they're so next level right now. Like it's not even like it's not even like close how they're the best team in the world right now.
Yeah, I just hope this form keeps up in London because I'm gonna go see that major live, and I want to be 2 for 2 on seeing majors where Astralis win.
Yeah, I think on paper they just have to do it, because like I don't see a team who can reliably expect to beat them. There's a bunch of teams who can, when they're in form, they can have a swing at them, but it's still a puncher's chance, where if you don't knock them out, like they're gonna come and they're gonna fucking like they're gonna wreck you. Like they're going to get back into that game. Like, and I think it's really only Team Liquid and FaZe that can do that. Like, I don't know. This team's just on no, like there was, just to show like how otherworldly this fucking team is. There was a story that I think in there was like an article I read that Max Mellett was talking about, where he interviewed Zipex, and he was talking to him, and Zipex like put forth this concept to him where he's like, they're trying to figure out a way to deliver specific information packets to different people in the team. So their idea is, so say there is a guy on, they think a guy is somewhere on the site because they heard something or got a clue or a tell or something. Someone like Zipex wants to know all that shit, because if in late round situations he wants to know everything, but someone like Dupree doesn't want to know because it might negatively affect the way he peeks the site when they go in. So they're trying to figure out ways to specifically give the right information to the right players. And the fact that they're breaking down the game to this degree like shows that they're just so far ahead.
It's really crazy too because like this game is like really old now. It's like 5 years old competitively, and like they're still finding new ways to like change the meta and innovate.
Yeah, no, I've like they've really like, I like that fucking lame ass line people keep using where it's like FaZe broke the game and then Astralis fixed it, because it's like I think this is the best team ever. Like if they're going to they're definitely not the greatest, but they're the best team right now. Like I don't think anyone's played this game to such a high level yet. And it is cool to see a tactical team doing this because they're not even the most talented team like in the scene right now. They might be like third or fourth, like in depending on your arguments, but they're like far and away the best.
I do wanna go off a little tangent here because one thing that I really like about like how I guess hands off Valve is with this game sometimes is that it forces the teams themselves to make adjustments and change the meta like organically. It's not like a game like League of Legends where the developer is super hands-on and they're the ones forcing how the game is played.
Yeah, there's not going to be an update that releases like every few weeks that like fundamentally fucks the game and makes like this team way better, this team way worse, and all that sort of thing. Like you're not having the meta just like swing all over the place. Like a lot of the time we will go ages without updates or whatever, and it'll be on like teams finding new ways to do shit. Like Astralis's mentality for nades has been not like sudden, but like it's developed over time and it's kind of reached its apex now. And that's like that's nothing's changed about nades. They've just fucking gone crazy. Like the only thing that's changed about nades, and we haven't even seen an effect, is the changes to Mirage's skybox. But like in general, it's the same nades. They just figured out like a new mentality and a new way to fucking use a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a big fan of like what this team's doing to change how teams look at Counter Strike.
Yeah, like it's because I think it's easy when you put together a team to just put together a bunch of talents and play this really loose style. And to some degree, you could see why people would prefer that just because it's easier and uh like I think it straight up takes less intensive work because you have to put in very specific work to do this tactical shit. And when you look at the scene and you would see that like FaZe are the best team in the world, it's like, well, maybe like that's the right way to do it. So seeing a team like this like achieve this much and just play like and just be so uh how do you say like so widely acclaimed by everyone besides like just like HLTV forums who are like Astralis are boring. Like it's cool to see this. Like this it's cool to see someone just like lights out winning the tactical versus loose discussion that we always seem to have in CS:GO.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Team Liquid. I mean, they did their best, I guess. Like that's pretty much that's how I'm gonna sum up Team Liquid right now. They placed second at ECS finals, and they went out in semis against FaZe at Belo Horizonte.
This team frustrates me so much. Like I like they yeah, I think like that ECS result is great. Like they genuinely had a good shot at Astralis, and though a lot of that was coming off like it seems harsh to say, but it was very they had a lot of things go their way in that final that made it seem closer than it was. But it's yeah, it's still like a good shot against a team that's that fantastic. The problem is when they're losing to FaZe. Like I think this team should have what it takes to beat FaZe, and they really
They kind of
that
lost
game wasn't close
convincingly.
enough for me.
They kind of
Like yeah,
lost
that was really
convincingly.
bad.
Like the one map they won was super close, and the other two maps they got dick stomped.
They also lost to Mouse Sports at that LAN.
Yeah, that's a big yuck.
Like they should be beating these teams. Like to some degree, I think they play to their opponent's level, and that's a really big problem because you can like there's a good side which is like you can hang with Astralis when you're on, but then there's the bad side where like you're losing to fucking to the teams you really shouldn't be losing to. Like they have the resources and the talent to be like definitely the second best team in the world, and I still think they are, but it's a real letdown that yeah, they what it was a 3 map series against FaZe, but both the maps that FaZe won were really quite dominant.
And one of them was Liquid's map pick. Like they just got shut out on train there. Sorry, on nuke. Like they didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I'm like a lot of the time, man, I'm not really sure what Liquid's map pool is. Because it seems like their picks go all over the place, but not in a way where it's really cool. Like some teams, you see them pick a lot of maps, and it's because they have like and it's because they're significantly better than the other team on that map, so they're going to take a map that they're less at. Whereas instead of one they're both really good at, they'll take one that we're quite good at and they're pretty bad at.
Yeah, like
But
earlier in the
yeah,
year,
it's just not working.
yeah, it's like earlier on, like with FaZe, like Kerrigan's veto gambles were really interesting. It's just like Team Liquid seem to take like veto gambles, but they're not interesting at all. Like there's no rhyme or reason to them.
Yeah, like we said that they had to we said that they had to prove themselves at these next two lands to show that they weren't inconsistent. And it's like it's weird because the placings are pretty good. It's like top four Belo Horizonte, second at ECS finals, but it's just the way they lose, and the teams that they beat. Because it's like, who did they beat? Like NRG, Fnatic, Big twice. Then they lost to us 2-0 by Astralis, 2-0 by Mouz, 2-1 is like smashed 2-1 by FaZe. And that's like, though we'll get into that later, but FaZe with a stand-in.
Yeah, and like a stand-in who's like he was decent at Belo Horizonte, but like I'm not sold on Croman, but we'll get into that later. But one
Mm-hmm.
of my biggest problems with Team Liquid right now is that like the two like the three best teams that are contending with them right now, Navi, FaZe, and Astralis, all have significantly better op presences than them, and they're routinely exploited by that. Like Guardian went off against them when they lost against FaZe. Hell, Chris J went off against them when Liquid got beat out by them in groups at Horizonte. And like Chris J had a really good tournament, but like it's fucking Chris J, man.
And it was like, I there was like some crazy shit. Like, yeah, I think it's really hurting them because like every time they played FaZe and Astralis, like Device and Guardian just go to town on these teams. Like I remember there was like some 8 rounds. There was some stat was like 8 rounds into Nuke. Like Nitro had 100 set like had 78 ADR, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But then like Nitro has 178 ADR. Like he's just wrecking this team, and like part of it is like Guardian's incredible, but part of it's also that they don't have a way to counter him in terms of like dueling him with an AWP. Like they just can't do it because Nitro is fine, but he's not up to the standard of these tier one players. And it's kind of fine to have Nitro AWPing against tier two teams, but against these top guys who have like elite AWPers, like you really do suffer, especially with like G2 are going to be on the rise eventually. Like, I don't know
And
if they're going to get to this high level, but like, I don't like you can't deal with Kenny S either.
oh god, no, like Kenny is gonna eat Nitro alive. And I liked Lurpus's point that he made during Belo Horizonte. Like Liquid are a team that have a bunch of dynamic hybrid players, but the problem is like no one's gonna fit that op role because they're all hybrid players.
Yeah, I think you need a pure AWP because like I can't remember if I made this point last time out, but it's the problem with having the idea of like no AWPer is in theory it works, but you kind of have to have a guy who's so good as a hybrid that it wouldn't be that much different from having a main AWPer. It's like kind of just having a main AWPer who's good at rifles, like a Device or a Shocks or something. And it's like, wouldn't you like it seems better to just build from a main AWP style. Like I have a big roster move they could do. Or like I think Stewie's gonna be free sometime soon, and I think they could like really kick Nitro, bring in Stu, and then like Stewie can do that shit where he's the main op, but he's also like doing that role where he IGLs, but he's really just like Zeus's puppet, like what Nitro is now. Like I don't really consider Nitro that much of an in-game leader. Like I consider him a man who does what Zeus wants.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that move because like Stewie is like definitely a skill upgrade over Nitro right now.
And it's not that like Liquid are bad, it's just that they're not winning. And like I was like tweeting some shit about them where it's like this team is going like how good this team has been is going to be lost to time. Like people are just going to remember them as like a fucking footnote to other teams' greatness because they never win. Like what have they won that fucking like CS Summit? too that like wasn't even like a proper LAN, wasn't like really that stacked, like barely a tier 1 tournament, and there was no crowd, so there's no real pressure. Like I don't know, I don't love this team. Like I like so much about them, but I think they need to fundamentally change some shit. And whether that's like I think they have to start by approaching some of these like games at 100%, whereas sometimes it's like if you're like, oh man, we could hang with Astralis, so like let's just, if we come into playing FaZe or Mouse Sports at like fucking 70-80%, like we'll be fine. But that's not fine. Like with these really good teams now, like you can't really get away with that.
Do you have anything else to say about Team Liquid besides that you're falling out of love with them? It's just
No,
not
it's
working
just
out.
just disappointing. It's just they disappoint me again.
All right. So right now, I think that FaZe are the number 2 team in the world, just because they have Nico and Guardian. I'm like, it's pretty apparent that Nico and Guardian can win you any tournament that Astralis isn't at.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's
that
true.
I think this 1-2 punch is like seriously up there for like all-time great 1-2 punches. Like they should have a major title.
It's yeah, it feels very like Shaq and Kobe, like these two, because it's just there's so much fucking talent there that you don't even like look at the rest of the roster. You're just like, these two are just so fucking unbelievable.
Like Guardian got them over Team Liquid at the Belo Horizonte, and then Nico was just ridiculous, particularly in the last 2 maps of that Belo Horizonte final. Just so much impact.
Yeah, like I feel like we have to be a bit nicer to Nico, because we like we weren't like mean to him, but I think in the past we like accidentally skip Baylist him by like talking about how he would take away from LeBron in back when he had Kyrie, and say he like LeBron James needs a closer, and that's why Kyrie's there. Kyrie's the real star because he closes the games. LeBron James can't do it himself. Whereas we kind of did that a bit for him and Guardian, though like we are going to see both of them like going off throughout the whole thing. It's just Guardian's usually the difference maker when it comes to like these big finals. Though Nico was actually like the main guy during this final. Like he was insane. Like nearly 120 kills over the 5 maps.
Yeah, it's pretty bananas, I have to say.
Yeah,
This
like it was kind of a turn, like to some degree. Like they were both fantastic throughout, but like Guardian, yeah, like smashed Liquid and Mouse to get him there, and then like Nico closed it out.
I'm really happy too because like I really like Nico. I think he's one of the funnest players to watch just because his aim is so pretty.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like he gets a fair bit of hate. Like I never understood the amount of hate that Nico gets
It's
in
pretty
the fucking
crazy
scene,
considering he's one of the most talented players to ever play this game. Like hell, he
because
might
it's
he might even be the most talented. Like
yeah,
he's
I can see that
crazy.
honestly. Because like it's so frustrating because it's like he's smashing it in mouse sports like back in the day, and people are like, they're like, it is easy to get kills when your team sucks, and then you're like, all right, and fast forward to now, he's winning trophies and like smashing it in FaZe, and they're like, it's easy to get kills when your team's really good. It's like, what? Come on, like,
He
please,
can't
you
win.
can't, you can't do this.
It's just that's that is Skip Bayless levels of moving the goalposts. Like you just have to hate someone so much that they can never win in your eyes.
It's fantastic like takes crafting. Yeah, it really is like where like these playoffs where LeBron hits he goes like, LeBron is not clutch. Like LeBron hits a couple game winners. He's like, it's like, yeah, but that was towards the start of the series, so he hits one towards the end of the series. Like, yeah, but it wasn't actually like a buzzer beater. There was still like a second or two left on the clock, so it
And he
doesn't
also
count.
took a bad shot. But then
Yeah,
but then at the same time if he makes the right basketball play, like he should have taken that bad shot.
yeah, and then they're like, but what about when MJ passed to Steve Kerr in those finals? And they're like, yeah, but he planned that. He said before that he was gonna do it, so
Yeah.
it's fine. It's like what? Like, come on! Like,
It's like how, oh god, the most ridiculous Skip Bayless take is that like MJ is the only person responsible for Scottie Pippen being an all-time player. I love
it's
that
so
take so
whack.
much. It's so good.
Like Scottie Pippen was just like fucking no better than Tristan Thompson deep down.
But then Michael Jordan punched him, and suddenly he became a god.
Like the hot take, dude. Steve Kerr would have missed that shot had MJ not punched him earlier.
Yeah, that's what the preseason's for. You punch your teammates during the preseason, and then they hit game winners in the finals. LeBron needs to
Beat
take
them
note.
to greatness.
All right, do you have anything more to say about FaZe? Actually, we haven't talked about Croman at all.
Oh yeah, yeah. We need to definitely.
So Croman was pretty underwhelming at ECS finals for my money. Like he didn't stand out to me that much at all. Like at Belo Horizonte, like he showed off a bit more of what he can do. Like I thought he had some really good moments of like just pure aim, but like nothing more than that. He's just a talented player, I guess.
I don't know. It's so I think to some degree it is a little hard to shine in this FaZe team when there's so much talent around you and you're not gonna be the main focal point. But like honestly, I thought he was really good. Like I thought like I was really, really impressed with this guy. Um I like so the thing with FaZe is I think it's time where we have to call it. Like someone has to step in and like be like, this is a fucking business, not just a team. Like we have to just cut Olaf Meister because I think he came out as well and said he's gonna be gone for even longer. Like we can't keep making like I feel like we can't keep making excuses for this team, but we can't keep saying like, oh man, they're just like they have a stand. It's like it's been so long since they've had their proper fifth in that we have to just start considering like this is FaZe right now, especially because I think Croman was quite good. Like I think they're a team where they don't suffer from having a stand-in as much as many others, particularly when they just plug in like an aggressive, talented player. Like I honestly, if I don't think they play that much better if they have Olaf Meister over Croman right now.
I don't know about that because some of the roles they put Croman in required a lot more decision making than I think Croman has. Like, or at least a lot more high level decision making. Like I don't think he was ready to play B in or on train because Mouse Sports exploited the fuck out of him on that. That was really rough. That was a bad look for Croman. And I don't know, like they're gonna have to make changes or just because train is one of their best maps. And when teams get a hold of those demos, they're gonna know hit the B site, hit Croman.
To be fair though, like I think that site's really fucking hard, and
No, it is hard. That's right.
most teams abuse the fuck out of it. Like even when you've got reasonable play, like a lot of teams will abuse Mirage B against FaZe because they know Carrigan's there, and actually Croman was fucking great. Like there was quite a few rounds where he like I throughout this land where I swear he would like save them where Carrigan would get picked doing something like honestly sometimes just making poor decisions. Carrigan would get picked and then Croman would be like down on the site and then like kill like two guys and like fucking pull the round back. But like I want to know what the fuck's happening with this FaZe team because like there was some weird interviews that came out where like
Yeah,
they
Kerrigan
made it
said
clear that
like
there was like animosity against like Robin and maybe Robin's like trying to push for this Olaf, like just cutting Olaf because you can't deal with this shit.
and like yeah, Kerrigan even said like in some interviews like it's time we look at other options besides Olafmeister. And like I think I agree with you. I think that's what they have to do. It's like
I think maybe the
Olafmeister's not
team's
a guarantee
torn
right
now.
now.
Like that's why I think the org has to step in and just say like, right, we're doing this. Like it's he's not coming back for it's gonna be like another like few months or something before he comes back. So we're just gonna cut him and we're gonna go get you someone else. Like that's just what's happening because waiting for the team to do it, like it first of all it damages the team's like culture and it damages the relationship. So I think like this is where you lack like that manager position because like this is where you like something you lack in esports and particularly in CS. Sometimes you don't have a guy who's going to step in and just fucking do it. But like I don't know, like I think they need to do it now before it's too late. Like definitely before so they've got like a month, like couple months before the major to get ready.
Yeah,
But
just pull the band-aid off now, it seems.
like I don't know. Like going back to the point, dude. Like I think Croman, like big ups to that guy because he really understood what this was, and it was like a really good chance to show off your talent and show that you can do it at the highest level. And I think he showed enough of that to where he's going to get on a good team. Like if like he that saying like where he put himself in the shop window is like really accurate. Like he really did. Like if he was in like a fucking like a standing in a shop window in Amsterdam, dude, like he would have been absolutely railed to high heaven this weekend. Like
Yeah.
he fucking really went off. Like like shout outs to that guy. Like it's not easy to step into a team, and though he's been there for a little bit, but like yeah, I think he played really well.
All right. You want to talk about Mouse now?
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just gonna say that we talked about this a little bit about that this final and whether or not it's a bad look for Mouse or a bad look for FaZe. But in reality, it's not a bad look for either. It's a bad look for Oscar because making the final of an event and then taking FaZe 5 maps without your supposed best player, it's not a good look for your supposed best player, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's like the way I was like looking at it was like it's not quite like basketball where this would be seen as really bad, but like all of his teammates looked better without it. Like pretty much all of them were better. Like Sticker had a really good final. He had some good moments throughout the LAN. Like Sunny and Rops like stepped into more of a starring role and they were really good. Like Rops as a second op was like surprisingly really decent. Chris J was incredible. Like Chris J was like
Like
if
this is
they
the land
won
of
that final, Chris J is probably the MVP of the tournament.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like that was the
He was
land of his career.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, it's like like it fucking I feel bad for Chris J, dude. Like he's doing whatever he can do to like fit in this team and work out well. And then just like he even gave up his main opping role and then like Oscar just like so you can put this like Oscar guy in who like look from what we've seen, he's not like Oscar's not the easiest guy to deal with. But it's like fine, you give up like your main op role to him, and then he doesn't come to this fucking land for whatever reason. Like we still don't know why.
And then you do
And
better with him
yeah,
from your old
you come
role.
in and you're fucking nuts. Like like overall, like and even on the rifle, he was really good. Like I really like Chris J in this team. Like he's slowly developed his role in this team. And like I've said before, I don't love that he's in game leading. I would really like if they replaced one of these guys with an in-game leader, but I would not replace Chris J. I would like move him to being like a I don't know, third or fourth like best player. Because yeah, I don't know. He like I think he really fucking proved himself here.
Yeah, this was definitely a very, very good look for Chris J. I do want to point out though, like the only legit team that they faced on their way to this, like on their way to the finals, was Liquid. And like, yeah, they smashed them, but like they just had to beat Space Soldiers and NTC and SK to get here. And we'll get to SK just for funsies. But
Yeah, I think they did like I think it's still like I think SK is still like a kind of difficult team to play, but yeah, the main thing is like they beat Liquid and then they took FaZe really close. Like taking FaZe to 5 maps is very notable, even though like they won most of the close maps. I still give them a lot of credit for doing that.
yeah, like that
Like
comeback on Cash was took a lot of guts, especially considering how they lost Inferno previously.
yeah, and like I'm saying, like dude, I think this FaZe team's still really good. Like even though they have issues, like I think they're not that far off what they would be if they didn't have a stand-in. Being really honest about that team, like it's still performing at that high level against a team like we were saying that has like fucking Nico and Guardian in it, and then you've got Rain, and then you've got Chroman doing a good job, and like Carrigan's playing okay. Like they're still stacked as fuck team, and you're still like doing well to do that well against them without your usual star, and you're playing with nothing, who was pretty fucking bad throughout this whole LAN.
I mean, he was okay, but he was absolutely awful in the final. Like he was a bot.
I do like he had his moments every so often, but like dude, I think overall for this like LAN, like I'd give him like a fucking like a D minus. Like I think it
Yeah.
was really not good. Like he was literally like the best thing I can say about nothing at this LAN is that without him they wouldn't have been able to play because they would have only had 4 players, and the rules state that you need 5 players in the server to compete.
Yeah, so good on him for being a warm body, real stand-up guy.
Yeah, yeah, good on him for flying down there, plugging his shit in. Apparently he was fun to talk to, real good vibes
No,
from
no,
Jordan.
no
Yeah.
flashbang dances, thankfully.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, yeah, not a fan of those. Um, Only other thoughts I have on mouse sports are not really mouse sports, but like that fucking final, Dust 2 is still fucking ridiculous. Like those mid doors need to fucking go. There was so much damage going down those mid doors, and the fact that you can't safely cross to the fucking B side is just absurd.
Listen, man. They have to have a T-sided map in the pool somehow, and whether or not it's predicated on bullshit, it's completely up to Valve.
It's like when you think about how, okay, so like the thing for me is like on that map especially, it's so fucking valuable to get a man advantage, because that means you're going to be going into a site where there's 2 people. Like you get a bit of information, and then you can hit a site, and you can hit it like 3-on-2, 4-on-2, even 5-on-2. If you can kill a guy down mid or even like leg him, it's so fucking valuable. Like there was a round where Chris J just like fucking fires a scout through a smoke down mid, like hits someone in the head, like, and then they're just he's like, oh, okay. Like you see him turn to his coach, like you fucking see that shit. Like it's so unreal, especially considering, yeah, like if you have a man advantage on T side of that map, like it's so valuable, especially because teams aren't overcomplicating that map. Like the only team who I really see like blowing that map out of the water is Astralis right now, and that's because they have like they're just fucking everyone's minds right now. Like the crazy thing I was seeing with them is like they had their ability to take and retake long A was fucking unbelievable, and they had like 4 different like variations on how to retake it. I saw like they showed it in that fucking liquid map in the final of ECS. Like it's like, yeah, I don't know. I complained as like super hard when the map came back and they didn't like put like a tunnel or some way to get to B in, and I'm gonna continue to complain because this is so stupid that it's still like this.
I guess the only embrace debate for this is do you want Cobble instead of Dust 2?
Yeah, that's also true. I would
Like
take this stupid gimmick over an entire map that is just a stupid gimmick.
yeah, like I got to agree. Like there's like between Cobble and Dust 2, not great choices, but like Dust 2 is fucking better than Cobblestone because I'm so goddamn
Honestly,
tired of that map. There's nothing interesting that happens, and at least on Dust 2 you get cool edge shots.
that's true. Honestly, I actually really like Dust 2 in the pool if you just change that one thing. Like, I really think this map can be super good if you just change that, but I don't think that's going to happen. 'Cause if they didn't change it before, they're probably not going to change it now.
No, you can't change tradition, Tom.
That's true. Like, they
This map
legitimately just reskin
is
the map.
Counter-Strike, Tom. There's nothing else to Counter-Strike except Dust 2, Tom.
That's kind of true though. Like when I bought this game, all I remembered from Counter Strike was like at playing at a friend's house, and I remembered Dust 2. Like that's it. I think I remembered something that was what the fuck is that map called? The one where you know how Edward has that insane clip
Oh,
of
it's like Tuscan.
1.6?
Tuscan.
Yeah, I think it was Tuscan. Like I remember playing that map, and I remember playing Dust 2, and that's it, and maybe Train. But like that's all I had in like burned into my mind was like those double doors and shit at Dust 2.
Dude, I've been trying to find fucking 1.6 matches on Tuscan, but they're like so rare, like on YouTube.
Yeah,
Like you
it's
can't
really
fucking
hard to
find
find
them.
games.
Like I don't know if just like no teams played them for like land finals or something, but like it's so hard to find them, and I'm really interested to see like how that map played.
Dude, it's just every 1.6 demo is fucking Inferno. We just have to admit, I swear to God, every time I try to
Inferno
watch
or
any
Train,
game, it's
yeah,
Inferno.
or
Yeah.
Train. All right, we done talking about Mouse then? Like, are we ready to throw off the fraud sports mantle?
I'm ready to throw it off when they kick Oscar and bring in someone else. Because like I feel like they just need a guy who has a lower ceiling but is still a star but can be more consistent. I would love that.
So if only Valde spoke like good English, that'd be perfect.
Oh. Or like any of these French players right now who are all in a mess. But I guess we'll get to Envious later.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of French options right now. All right, let's talk about NOG. I don't really have much to say about them, but like they did okay, I guess. They made it to semis against Liquid, and then got banged out.
Yeah, like they over the lens, like they I think they did pretty well. Like getting convincingly toured by Liquid was a bit of a, but like 16-4 in G2, like G2 did not look fucking good already, but that was still decent, like still good players. Like they 16-8 FaZe, which was fucking notable, but still a best of one. But I don't know. The only thing I'm saying is like I really still like when I watch this team, I think they're a little too fundamental sometimes. Like their CT defaults, like sometimes you want them to do a little more, like be a little more proactive. But like I still think they're a really solid team. Like I wouldn't mind that thing I was saying last episode where it's like Daps probably needs to be pretty cutthroat to save himself. Like I think he's gonna be looking back on this team if he doesn't improve them one way or another and be like, fuck, like Cirque went to C9 and Breeze went to Liquid and fucking Ethan went to fuck knows where, like all my fucking boys are gone and I'm stuck with this bitch Fugly
I should have
who
just cut
like
him.
yeah, who has this weird contingent of fans who think he's low key like this fucking like they think he's like automatic on the down low or something, dude. Like I don't understand the Fugly fans, but whatever. Like I think he just yeah, he there's a good chance he needs to just be cutthroat, make this team the best you can make it now because if you don't make him like a top contender and like moving towards being like a tier 1 team and like make like if you can't get them to the level Liquid are at, then there's a good chance you start just like losing players left and right. So I wanted to say also mini episode of hashtag Tom was right. Breeze fucking lit. Breeze is fucking mint. Like that kid is so good.
Yeah, but is he cheating?
That's true.
So so maybe it's like I mean this Kaylee guy's pretty lit, man. Let me tell you.
That was yeah. That was the I don't know, man. Like you don't have to be anti a guy to call him cheating. Like though, so was Breeze right that Ryu called him a cheater and then signed him to his team
Yeah.
like a month later.
Man, what a fucking cheater. So
He's like
you're gonna sign this still, right though?
yeah, fuck this cheating bitch. Like yeah, a win's a win though, but
But low key,
and
yeah.
I would say Breeze fucking might even be the fucking most valuable player on this team to some degree. I just want to see more of this team, but I also want them to cut Fugly. Like I think you just get more reasonable players. Like even we just shit on him, but if you replace Fugly with nothing, like this team probably gets better.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like,
You can get him up the pace again.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to pry nothing away from the old guys club though. Like that team's on a tear right now.
Buyouts, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
recent.
Lurpus cracks the whip, dude. You can't get him out.
Yeah, Lurpus is the ironclad GM of both Made in Brazil and the Old Guys Club. All right, you want to switch over to Fnatic, a team that is probably going to be a bit more interesting than NRG because of the changes they just made.
Yeah, I guess a bit more to say about it.
Yeah, all right. So Fnatic went out in groups at ECS, and that gave them an excuse to cut Golden and complete the project that they've been striving for these many months. They
Yeah, like the this shit was fucking ridiculous. Like this, I feel like they really like you could see exactly what was fucking happening this whole time, and I feel bad because like Golden like in his like quote on the website, he was like talking about like how it's like, oh, that's like had a good time, I'll miss the boys. Like, really, dude, like, will you miss these guys? Because like they very clearly like set him up to fail and then just like straight up just like execute order 66 like right on him. Like I just like cut him after one event because it's so funny how transparent it was. But like this like they cut him, the community's mad. It's like, fuck, we can't, like, we just want to get exist on, because like for some reason they have some like blood pact with all the old Swedish players where they have to get exist back on the fucking payroll. So they cut this guy, they realize they can't cut him, and then they're like, oh fuck, the community hates us. Like, do you know who's,
let's
and then like Flusher's like or JW, like one of those guys, just like, you know who the community doesn't give a fuck about? This guy, just like pointing at Lecro, they just cut him the fuck out of the team to bring Zist in. And then like that's the most brutal thing, is they put Golden into entry fragger, brutal at the best of times, but especially brutal when your skill set doesn't pertain to that role whatsoever. So he has one awful LAN and then they just boot him for fucking Dragon.
listen. What's wrong with that? He played bad. We had no choice.
You have left us no choice, Golden. You are an awful entry frag. It's like, please, I agree, I'm not an entry fragger.
Then we agree. There's no purpose for you on this team. Wait, what? Bye.
It's like slamming the door. Also, like, a bit brutal that Lecro had to be the fucking fall guy here. Especially
Yeah,
because they bring in Draken, who's like not like I think in general this was Draken for Lecro above all else,
yeah,
which is, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, you've already got like, it's weird because JW's been on an upturn for the last 2 months or so. Like, he's really got it back together, and you just move him back on off the fucking AWP to being like just a hybrid player, and then you're like, the way they put it through is they're like, now we have two fantastic AWPs. It's like, it's not how it works. Quite,
it's
like,
also
hold up.
not really true. Like, fantastic is a bit of a stretch for both these players right now.
Yeah. So, like, I like Draken a lot, and I really like. I don't agree with him being cut from Nip, but like, I think it's a good pickup in terms of just you're getting talent. But yeah, like, it's a bit rough calling either of those players fantastic. Like, Crims is the only fantastic player on this team, but like the harsh thing for Lecrix, it's like they've like they cut him as like, because you're young, you're inexperienced, you're fucking like inconsistent, and then they just like go out and like pick up the exact same thing but in a role they already have. Like, it's like this fucking team, man. Like,
Dude,
it's
it's no,
I
like
don't get
someone,
it.
I don't remember who wrote this article, but like Fnatic have become Nip. Like, I think it might have been Max Millett who wrote this article, but like Fnatic, like, or maybe it was Stuccio. But either way, like Fnatic have just been like, are just like committed to this core of JW, Crimson, Flusha, like till death do they part. And now they're just like swapping out everyone else.
Yeah.
It's like the old like, just get a new fifth for Nip. It's this all over again.
Dude, and they just signed Exist, so they are pretty much gonna be Nip now. They have 4 players locked in that they will not kick, and then they're just gonna like, dude, I swear to God, in 4 months they'll like kick Draken and sign Twist, and then like a few months after that they'll kick Twist and sign fucking like Rez or whoever's free at the time. Like, if Nip are retarded enough to kick Rez.
I just think that this team's gonna be a mess. Like and like
Like,
I do like that Nip picked up like Lekro. Like just cause like he's obviously the best player available and that's what they need right now.
yeah, like I just I don't know. I'm trying to look at the positives on this team, and it's like
It's
at
really
least they added firepower when they really needed that shit. Like because like you can't have Golden exist in the same team.
yeah.
Like there's especially when Flusher doesn't give a fuck half the time. Like he's gonna phone it in at like fucking half the lands. Like you need the that extra bit of firepower, but when you view it through the lens of it was more so they kicked Lekro for Draken. I don't think that's a huge upgrade, if upgrade at all. Especially like when you consider the roles, it's definitely not an upgrade because they like Lekro was like you. I don't know like
Just when we
like
think
I
the
love
Swedish
it.
scene is getting it back together, they fuck it all up.
Yeah,
And
like I feel like
they fuck it
Swedish
up in the
CS is
most
so
petty
far
like
away.
they fuck it up in the most like petty Swedish CS way possible. Where they just like recreate the old guys their own little their like old boys club. It's awesome.
Yeah, they just like they're really like they're like everyone in the scene right now looks at Virtus Pro and they're like man like what a sad state of being. But all the old Swedish players look at that team and they're like fucking those boys know how to do it, don't they? Like just get you and all your friends on a fucking sick paycheck and then do fuck all. Like like that's what all the Swedish players are trying to be.
You know what? After being so dominant in like 1.6 and then early go, they're like, we just need a break right now. We just want to get this money. We don't want to work.
We just need to find ourselves, you know.
Fuck. All right. Speaking of a team that needs to find itself, new G2.
Oh
Um,
boy.
they went to ECS. They didn't do so hot. Like they beat Luminosity in a best of three. Congrats, I guess. Like you beat a tier 2 team with tier 1 names. Like good on ya.
Mm.
But they got pretty convincingly beaten by FaZe.
Yeah. Like it was one of those ones where I credit for having a decent effort against FaZe, but like there was no world where you win that. Like FaZe were in control the entire time, even though it was like you got to double digits on one of the maps. I think the other one was actually 9, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I didn't expect much from this team at this land just because it's like they had 10 days of prep. And when you look across them, it's like, and you could see that like they had obviously like a weak map pool. Their timings weren't there yet. They weren't clicking. Like, and you're looking across this team, you've got like Shocks who hasn't played the game in like 2 months and is coming off of fucking surgery, like where he didn't touch the game at all for like a month. Like Smiths hasn't played like professional Counter-Strike in like a year. Like Existence is still trying to get back to this level, which to be honest, he fucking like he just did.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, no, no. We'll get to that later.
and then like like you're changing bodies role. Like Kenny's the only guy who's not going through like a huge transformative process in this team. Like I think it's all up from here, but like I mean like it could have been worse. Like they could have lost
Yeah,
to
they could have
Luminosity.
lost to Luminosity.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think it was always going to be a process just to like get these players back into gear, especially when you're of your 2 stars, one of them is like not ready yet. Like he's still on his way back, and you could just kind of tell because it didn't really look like Shocks a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree. Like he was hitting some okay shots on that Mirage map against FaZe, but like other than that, he was really bad on Inferno. But like one of the things that I'd like to formally issue an apology to Existence here, because I was wrong and he was ready to play on this level. I did not see that coming, especially against a team as talented as FaZe, because he individually as a fragger looked good.
Listen, it's just know that our glorious leader Kevin is a forgiving one, and hopefully he won't hold it against you.
Also, on that Inferno map where Kenny went off, like he hadn't gone off in G2 like for like months. Like so it seems like he finally gives a shit again, which is nice.
Yeah. To be fair,
unfortunately,
he did
yeah.
that map, and then he just like took his hands off the keyboard. He's like, right, you take the next one, boys.
Yeah, he was really, really bad on the next map though, on that Mirage map. But oh
No, it's a
well.
good sign, though,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I think it's a good sign. It's a part of like what I love about Existence's system is that like people think of him as a tactical guy, but like he has a style where he loves to get his star players and then like really really set them up, and that works really well for this team. Like Kenny and Shocks are two players where you really can put them in great positions and tee them up, and then they can like just fucking smash it. And I think I really like the concept of this team in like 3 months, but
Like they've got a lot
not
of
now.
work to do. Like
Yeah,
that's all we're gonna say. Like they have a good. Fortunately, they have a few weeks to Cologne, and they were invited. Like I'm pretty excited for that Cologne event because we're gonna we should probably have a prediction show, like a short prediction show for Cologne, and then
that's true. Yeah,
so we can get these takes off, and then like have our big like analysis podcast after.
yeah, I feel that. Sort of, because yeah, when I look at this team, like the only thing would be does does MBK end up in this team eventually? Like, because I feel like I feel like MBK might go out into the wilderness of like French CS for a little while because he doesn't seem to want to do an international team, and then but I feel like eventually if they can, like the French scene is so fucking frustrating because like you just want them to fucking get their shit together and just put together this dream team, and it really would for me like probably just like you change Smiths for Apex or MBK and this team's really good, or like you change Body and Smiths for fucking Apex and MBK. Like
That's what I'd want.
you want them to just put their fucking egos aside and just fucking make this super team because you're not gonna win. Like, or this is the best chance to winning, and if you can't do it without the super team, you just have to do it.
But they never will. That's the thing. Like they're too
Yeah.
petty.
Though to be fair, like they've shown a lot of grit. Like I never ever thought I'd see like fucking MBK and Sharks in the same team. Like, I never thought I'd see that shit again. And they fucking played together for a long ass time and worked together like to some level.
Yeah, we're just like GT is just a waiting game for us as fans.
Yeah, I really like these players, but you gotta give them some time.
The problem is we said that about the last G2, and like we gave them a year plus, and they just never lived up.
So you can see a trajectory, and there's like you actually have a proper guy at the helm. Like Existence is a captain in the ways that Shocks and MBK, to be honest, aren't. Like
No, they're not.
there's a lot of leadership things that Shocks in particular can do, but like the actual fucking CS side of it, not great. Like in MBK, I just don't believe in him as a leader. Like I just don't. Unfortunately, like it's just never worked, and I don't think it's magically gonna start. So
Yeah,
I think you have to. It has to be Existence, especially that like now we've seen that he can fucking play and he can play against good teams. Like how didn't I'm pretty sure he'd like fucking yeah he had like 40 kills over 2 maps versus FaZe.
like you
Like
know those
that's enough on that's a resume. Like
you know that you know the fucking like no more excuses for videos that Thorin used to do? Like no more excuses for the French scene for keeping existence out. No more.
yeah, I'm so glad they finally fucking turned around on him because like I think he is the key right now. Like this core of Shock's Existence Kenny is the key to like fixing French Counter Strike.
Yeah, I just hope it comes sooner rather than later or never.
Yeah, no, I believe it's fine. Everything is fine.
Not worried.
Hashtag not worried.
All right, you ready to have a little funsies at SK's expense?
Always.
Oh, always, because oh man, that Belo Horizonte, ooh, it was so great to see that crowd just hype them up whenever they beat like fucking space soldiers on land. Like, yeah, they're really doing it, and then they just get absolutely tabbed out by Mouse Sports. It's not even close. Like they never have a
The best
chance.
crowd in esports,
It's
unless you're
always
Turkish.
it's always really nice to see like the best crowd in the team of the best crowd in esports just get absolutely fucking obliterated in front of them.
Dude, the only way this could have been better is if, so they got toured by space soldiers in groups. If they got toured by space soldiers in the fucking actual arena, that would have been fantastic after, like, just straight up the bullshit that happened to fucking space soldiers where that tweet came out that like they were getting shoved and like spat on and shit like when they were walking through the crowd, which first of all, don't make players walk through the crowd. Like that's just not safe. Like, and that's not even like saying in a Brazilian thing. Like that's not safe anywhere. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
No, absolutely not. It's fucking stupid. You don't put your players at risk like that.
Yeah, it's like it's yeah, no, it's a problem. Like you can't do that shit, and it's like it's just so unreasonable that like to have like players getting fucking spit on and shit. But they got their comeuppance in the end. It's yeah, straight up just fucking Mouse Force just strolled straight through them.
I can't wait till like some brutal roster move gets made like right before MIBR. Actually, that announcement's in like 3 days. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
it's on Saturday. Oh man, I hope they do a roster move like on stage. Like they just line bolts up, they just line up bolts next to the guillotines like sorry bud, we had to do it to him.
And then what actually like so they've got him on the guillotine and then a trapdoor opens below Stewie and then like and then Bolts like stands up and is like, it was me the whole time, Jake.
Like we said made in Brazil. We cannot have any non-Brazilians in this team.
And like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a crazy move. Honestly, either of those moves, because Bolts is not working out. Stewie is like not fitting this team at all. Fur had like a kind of disappointing land as well. Like, man, this team fucking blows. Like, they should be, and obviously, like, they're not shit, but like, for the players they have, you still have Coldzera and you still have Fur, and like, Fallen was something once. Like, Fallen's a fucking wreck right now, but like, those are still huge names, and you can't be this bad with those names.
No, like eventually it's going to come down to like when are you gonna blow up this core? It just feels like right now.
Yeah, it's like like start like it feels like when you're watching like a fucking team that had like a dynasty and then like their players just started to age out and it's just sad watching them just get like fucking like smashed or like make like a fucking seventh seed in the fucking playoffs and getting like smashed by whoever the second place in the conference is or something. Like it's like no one wants to see this, just blow it
Dude,
up.
dude, don't talk to me about my Seattle Seahawks, man. It's fucked up. Uh, but yeah, like
No
SK
worries.
just stink. We want them dead. Just kill this team. Have it be reborn under MIBR with Phelps because NTC were bad at this land too. Just blow up that team too. Fuck it.
I don't understand why people were so hyped for NTC at Boston because it was like because it was another tale of that shit where it's like, man, they're sick in scrims, dude. Like there's so much talent, they're fucking so good, and then they didn't even fucking play right, and then they made the team better by bringing in fucking KNG and Phelps, so like an even better team, and they were just terrible.
Yeah, they were really awful at this land, man. Like they had no chances in any of the games they played, really.
Like this team has gone from like being, and it's only one land, but it's gone from being like an exciting fucking prospect to like this is just a prison for Phelps and FNX. Like y'all got fucking smashed by big, like, or not quite smashed, but like pretty confidently beaten by Big. Like Mouse Sports didn't really break a sweat. Like fuck,
Just
like
yuck.
fuck me, dude. This like this, and with nothing being a complete bot in that series as well. Like nothing did fucking nothing in that series, and they just Mouse like didn't even fucking look in the rear view mirror to see just like your crumpled heap and like after they just fucking drove straight over you. Like they didn't give a fuck. Like
Like if cars had 5 wheels, they ran you over with only 4.
that's yeah. Well, I guess they have 5 wheels, so yeah, that works.
All right. So there are some other lands that we're only gonna briefly talk about here. The land in China, CAC, and then DreamHack Open Summer.
I mean, yeah, the to go. I guess we'll go for CAC. Just picking a random one, but
VP lost.
yeah, no,
That's what's important. Like Navi beat VP in the final. That's all I care about.
like, dude, like that was really like this is a tournament to me that means nothing. Like in terms of results, like it was cool for what it was. Like the scale was good. You could tell they put the money into it. The fans like enjoyed it, but like this is one where Navi went, and it's one of those ones where we saw it happen to SK. Like it's happened to SK a couple times actually, where they go to these lands and it's like, all right, so it's free money, but the problem is if you win the tournament, everyone goes, yeah, that's what should have happened. But if you don't win the tournament, everyone just it's just like fucking open season on you on the fucking forums and social media because this is really just free fucking money.
Yeah, and I'm glad Simple got that free fucking money.
Yeah, get that boy paid. Like looking at that Navi team, I guess you can't come with like the biggest you can't come at this with the most conclusions, I guess, because it isn't as big a deal, but like Zeus and Edward still pretty weak. Edward still pretty horrendous, though he did have some decent performances. But like I will say, I simply refuse to give Edward credit for fragging against a fucking envious mixed team with Kiyashima as the in-game leader. Uh, other thing is like Flamey was also fucking weak. He had a good final, but like this hole that Flamey's like played his way into slowly is a real fucking problem because like I don't know if you can do it if you have three players not doing well.
No, I don't think you can either. Like, yeah, like yeah, Electronic is good and consistent in this team, but like, Flamey still needs to find his fucking way back. Like, he needs to have impact, otherwise this team's not gonna like they're not even gonna be able to compete with FaZe.
Like he's taken this Swedish route as well. Like it's where they signed Electronic, and he's like, "All right, time to just really fucking get my feet up and sit back and watch the boys do it." It's like, nah, we need more than two players, please. Like I guess in one of the kind of interesting thing was Simple was a little bit down at this land. Like he's still the MVP, but he wasn't like just the absolute
The god.
fucking yeah, like absolutely unstoppable force like he has been recently. But yeah, I don't know. Like this team's still just frustrating. Fantastic like 3-star core on paper, but with one of them not showing up and then two bots and Zeus like honestly sometimes I question this team how they play, but like I don't know, like it just I feel like you just have to make a roster move at this point because you're winning this, but that doesn't matter. Like what's happened, what's the problem is I don't think you can beat a lot of these really good teams right now.
No, like I don't like eventually once I'm sure they're gonna stick with Croman for now, and like once he gets more integrated into the lineup, like Navi's not gonna have a chance against them.
Hmm. But like I guess to I guess or do you want to jump to Virtus Pro?
I mean, not really. Just like I don't give a shit anymore. Like
I feel
VP
like
like VP just like I used to not like VP because like they were relevant but they were so boring. But like now VP is just irrelevant and I don't care.
yeah, it's like at least they did well enough that it's still fair play to shit on them, because I feel like if they went out in like last place at this LAN, like you can't talk about them because it's like it just feels like you're just kicking this fucking maimed fucking animal on the floor that's just like, just let him die, please. Like they like, it's like they sort of pick themselves up, they struggled to make their way and start like clawing at the door, and then you just fucking pelted them back into the street because they just got destroyed in the final after, like, it was so weird. Like they killed it on Dust 2 and they're like, oh, maybe the magic's coming back, boys, and then like, nah, just got just fucking blown, just absolutely bodied on Nuke and Train. Like this was one of the worst finals I've ever seen. Like this
Um,
was awful.
it's not one of the worst finals I've ever seen because I didn't see it, so I saved myself the
Good
trouble.
choice.
Yeah, no.
Good choice. Like this is one of those maps where like it will be forgotten to time, and that's a good thing. Like it's like I don't even think it's a question. Are they coming back? Like they're just, no, they're still shit. They just had a performance where Snacks like somehow became unwashed for a LAN, and Bialy went absolutely nuclear. Like Bialy like fucking went fucking off the, like he was unbelievable, and you don't get this consistently from Bialy. Like it's a good sign at least, but man, wasn't really, like, you're not gonna get this all the time.
Like even when Virtus Pro like really good, they were like you still couldn't rely on Bialy to do this all the time. Like he'd have like three or four maps every LAN where he goes off, but like that's still not consistent enough. Like he's never been a super consistent player.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an issue. Like because the when you would look at that team, it would be like you'd have like two solid players in Taz and Neo, and then you'd have like Bialy and Pasha would be inconsistent, but you'd always have like one of them on, and Snacks was like a fucking god, and it's like that would work, but like you can't have it this way because like where you've got the old guys shit, like at least you got Mihu now, so it's not as much of an issue. Like, but it's just too much inconsistency. Like you do actually honestly have a pretty good fucking team on paper between like Mihu, Bialy, and Snacks, but it's just filling that shit out. Like that's the real problem. But yeah, in general, just fuck them. They ruined the final.
All right, let's talk about DreamHack Open Summer and mainly Imperial proving once again that FPL is the highest summit of Counter Strike today, because an FPL PUG team just basically beat Optic on LAN.
Dude, I was really surprised when I like, because I saw they got some like early upsets, and I watched them, and then I watched them as they went on, and this team's actually pretty fucking decent. Like it's another cool case where they gambled on like two or three stars, in this case like three like fraggers, like three just like talented fucking players, and then you stick like two old guys who aren't that really that good at the game, but like they're good at telling the young guys what to do, and it just like fucking worked. Like this dude Esperanto, like I'd heard big things about him in the past, but he was fucking phenomenal. Like he was incredible. Like especially in the final, like what the fuck, dude? Like that first map where he went off, and in general throughout the whole tournament, like he was great. Like, and it's the rare thing I think with gambling on these fraggers is that all three of them worked out. Like I was pretty I was done with Nexa, to be honest, because like when he joined Renegades ages ago, I watched a bunch of like his old demos and games and stuff, and be like, this guy's like actually got fucking promise, and then he was awful in Renegades, so I was like, all right, I guess he doesn't have what it takes. But yeah, he turned up. Like all three of those guys, like Nuki, Esperanto, Nexa, like all had like 40 plus kills in the final. Like it wasn't even a case of like one of them and like people like the other ones choked or whatever. It was like all three of them were fucking killing it.
Yeah, is this a bad look? I guess another question that I have is like, is this a bad look for Optic? Because like they have the names like Config, Cajun B, Yugi, Snappy. Like that team is a lot more recognizable than Imperial, especially on LAN. And they kind of just they didn't really have a chance in the final, to be honest. They kind of got demolished.
Yeah, it was kind of yeah, like the second map they did okay, but yeah, it was still just Imperial in control. Like that, it is a bad, like they're still a developing team, so it's not the worst, but that is a bit of a fucking shit look losing to Imperial, definitely.
Yeah, especially when we thought Config was back with that shit talking. Like that's yet another like file to so that's another folder to file in the like config gets egg on his face again folder. Like it's just getting thicker and thicker by the tournament.
Yeah. I love him, but like fuck me, like he's not. Though I did go and look at his Twitter, and like like around this tournament when they beat North, which big like that's fucking pretty decent. Like make like beating North, like showing that you're actually probably the best Danish team or
That
second
isn't
best Danish team,
yeah
like
the best
the
Danish
best
team.
mortal Danish team. Like uh like I look at his Twitter stuff and he's like no memes and shit and like saying like it's like and he actually said he wasn't gonna do memes or whatever. It was just like fucking retweeting like a 21 Savage court and all this shit, and it's like, oh, like
No.
Twitter games all over the place recently.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. Like once he tweeted this 21 Savage tweet, like they were gonna lose the tournament. Like that should have been the red flag.
I will say though, like the one other thing about this land, dude, is like Yugi fulfilled the fucking the my prophecy and became like he's ascending to superstar talent. Like he didn't have a great final, but like Optic in general didn't have a great final. Like he was just okay. But like when he was like when he was playing those semis and shit, like he was fucking incredible.
So once again, like add that to the Tom was right. Or did you even think
Yeah,
that he'd be?
the best
Did you think that he'd become like a superstar talent, or just like would you think he'd be like a pretty good complimentary star?
I thought he'd be what it's I don't know, I think I'm trying to think because it's like the problem as well is there's so much talent in the Danish scene that being like the second best player on the second best team is still really good. My thing was always like he's going to be a star AWPer on the second best Danish team and potentially the best Danish team if Device moves off the AWP. Like that was what I was always like saying to this guy when he was like trying to get out of tricked into heroic and that whole fucking mess was going on. Like I just liked his demos that much.
And now this playing the long Kong has paid off because now you can just flex about it.
Yeah, now you gotta flex about those good takes.
All right. Anything else to say about DreamHack Summer?
See if there's anyone else. I want to give credit to AGO. I think they've been really fucking good recently. Like they're the best team in Poland, and I think they're playing really fucking solid Counter Strike right now.
The best team in Poland.
Yeah.
Man, really makes you think.
Like honestly, you'd take more players from this than Virtus Pro if you're making a Polish super team. Like Snatchy is fucking legit. Like he was smashing the fuck out of Oscar at that LAN recently. Um, that like Furlan and Tao, like in terms of Tao or however you say his name, like as like two riflers going in with like their other star Grubby. Like they have a really good chemistry in terms of hitting sites. Um, they don't seem to be that affected either because they're changing their in-game leading role. Like I would thought that would affect them more, but I don't know. They looked really good. Like they had a really good chance of beating Mouse at that tournament. Like there was they lost 2-1, but they really could have won either of those two maps Mouse took. Which fucking land was this? But anyway, like they were fucking good. Like big ups AGO. Like I'd like to see a bit more of them because I think they can do it consistently. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams to talk about really.
You want to talk about North at all or not really?
I have a take on North, which is like MSL back on the genius train because first of all, like I think he deserves more credit in general, but like I'm watching that team and he's like Mertz has turned it around, so big ups Mertz, but also MSL finding a spot for him. Kirby has like sort of more or less completed his development from a star into I don't think he's a star player anymore. Like I think he's just gone down in terms of quality, but he's become an extremely valuable role player. Like he went from being a star in Astralis to being pretty weak in Astralis to now he's a very, very, very good entry fragger and like super valuable guy to have. But the crazy thing, I think MSL's fixed AZ.
Oh,
Like
that's a bold take, my man.
that's the crazy dude. Like AZ, when I watch, like his stats aren't incredible, but when I watch AZ, dude, like I think he's so much better. I like you watch because he's doing this like second op role as well, but in general, like he's having way more impact on T side. He's working off like his responsibilities a lot better. He's like playing like he was so fucking terrible, and like he still isn't perfect, but I think he's like I think it's time to like pull him out of the grave, you know. Like I think this guy can be valuable finally. Like I thought he was absolutely done for, but I think you can do something with him now.
Hmm. Is it time to start walking back our AZ Stinks train takes then? It's
It
like
might be, dude. Like I don't think he necessarily sucks anymore. He might like regress back into that shit. Like I don't think he's saved, but like I think he's the main problems with AZ has been fixed, which is that he seemed to have no fucking role in this team. He was just always there. Like his role was like being MSL's best friend. It was just weird. But I think that's trying to do anything else. Oh, I did when I I I was when I was doing my notes for Renegades for I don't know why the fuck I was watching Renegades, but when I was doing notes for Renegades, I noticed that it was like I had three lines that were suspiciously close to a haiku, so I changed a few syllables and I ended up with please God end this team. Smashed by call on land is joke. Do fuck off, you cunts. And that's all I have to say about Renegades.
dude, listen. I know the reason you can't stop watching Renegades. There's like your guilty fucking pleasure. Like there, it's how you inflict like masochism. Like you just love hurting yourself watching this team.
Dude, it's fucking bad. Like I hate this team. I don't enjoy it at all. I watch them, but I don't enjoy them. Like I think this team fucking blows. Like they're so like they need a fundamental change. Like they're just straight up bad.
Like
But
I'm. This is why it's masochism, Tom. You just can't help it.
yeah, it's yeah, I don't know though. Like I watched there's that fucking team. It's like, oh what the fuck's wrong with me? Like I straight up that Shinji shit was just like I'm so fucked up. That's what that fucking team that's what Renegades feels like. Like fucking beating off over your comatose friend's body. Like that's what Renegades feels like. And that's at the
Oh,
best of times.
oh
Like
no.
when they made that when they made that fucking that run at I Am Sydney, that's what it felt like. And that was the best they've been. But
And then the
I
worst of
guess
times is watching that same friend just get ripped apart by fucking like crow Evas.
except those Avas are like fucking tier 2 teams where you're barely heard of. Like them getting ripped apart by like fucking Gambit or something. Like
There's
that's the worst part, definitely.
Man, if we had Photoshop skills, we should just like do an end of Renegades fucking movie poster.
Do you have paint skills though?
Ooh, are you gonna be? I don't think that's enough to make that. Like you just have fucking what's his
That would
name?
be awful.
You just have sponges like instead of raised giant head, you just have sponges like giant head in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, that yeah, that'd be perfect. And then fucking now that their coach is gone, he can be world's best dad. Well, that's
Oh yes, Gendo, who did nothing wrong.
yeah. His only crime was being too good of a dad.
Fuck. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and finish off this bit with the death of Envious. Because like that team is getting blown up, like officially. Like all the players are getting released from their contracts after the CAC event in China. when like Happy and RPK didn't go, and it was this weird mixed team. But like they're officially done. Keo just put out a twit longer. He said there was a lot of fighting in the team. Like nobody like I guess they lost faith in Happy's vision, which like I don't think there was much vision there at all left. But like what little was there is gone. RPK didn't want to like he's like I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. I want to go back to the wilderness and be a mechanic again. Some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like this team's done. Like and like I think Envy said they were gonna get into NACS, but like I don't think they realize the amount of money you'd have to pay to get a pretty reasonable NACS team, or that there's not that many available. Like I think they're going to get out of CS eventually, and this is the first step, which is releasing all their players, which is a little strange because I think you could still get money for a fair few of them. But at least now they're free and it's over. Because this like it's fucking so funny that the best they've looked was this mixed team that still had the dog shit players like a Sixer in it, and had like Kiyashima in-game leading, and like in the twit longer he said something like people ask why I in-game lead this team, it's so I can show you that what it can be like without Happy. It's like just to like he in-game led this team just to show them that there was still hope in this world. Like they were so fucking devastated and like mind numbed by like fucking running in a Happy system, that these players like didn't fucking like believe that they could like enjoy Counter-Strike anymore.
It's just like he's wearing just like fucking Keo's wearing a hat that's like make Counter Strike fun again.
Yeah, dude, like this team, like this, I think you can still take like a few of these players, make a good team, or a lot of these players can be valuable in like other international teams or whatever. But maybe even like MBK like looked to do a project, looking to like maybe his project is like he knew this team was blowing up and he's gonna pick up a bunch of players like RPK and fucking like I think he could maybe make Scream work, because I don't think Happy can make anyone work. Like XMS I think still worth something. uh Kiyashima definitely, because like the crazy thing is you watch this LAN, Happy's gone and like Scream is on a tear, like fucking Kiyashima looks really good whilst in game leading. He's playing like really well. Like to me, this just makes Happy look like the most miserable team ruining cunt you can imagine. Like, like
Yeah, like Happy's
this
time is
whole LAN
over.
was like a huge fuck you to Happy as a player. Like I think he needs to completely change himself as a player and as a human being to get it back into being a valuable guy.
No, like I think like this is probably like the end of Happy. Like I don't see like I think the French scene like at all levels is just fucking done with him. I think
Yeah, he ruined it.
I think he'll probably just retire. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, and it's a shame because people won't remember the good times, but like, yeah, it's fucking. See ya, bud.
Yeah,
You got
like
two majors out of it.
yeah,
Happy
Happy's
fucking, he
responsible
got
for
two
two.
majors. He'll
Yeah,
manage.
yeah, like Happy got two majors into the scene, and like people are only gonna remember, man, he fucking ruined so many teams.
Like he ruined the fucking like second best French. Like he ruined the French scene. Honestly, like all the problems in the French scene come back to him. On like, I
The
swear
four
to God. Like even like
spies.
G2 failing. Like he fucked. Like fuck this guy. Like he made a bunch of money, won a bunch of trophies. He's fine. Like he was fantastic at times, but like scene destroying in others. I don't even know anymore. But on the other thing I'd say is do you have any thoughts on Nip?
I mean, I guess like they're just gonna be a five rifle team now. Like it's gonna be like old Nip, where like who's gonna be on the op? Is it gonna be Fifth Laren? Well, I guess, but like who gives a shit? It's gonna be five rifles.
They have a few players who can like secondary op, but no one in this team I would give the main op to. Like I think this team is like I don't fucking get this. I don't fucking get this at all. Like this, first of all, that stat came out that they have not won any playoff series since I am Oakland 2017. Like they haven't won any playoff series since then. But like
Yikes.
I don't get this at all. Like you give away your like they had that interview with Rez where he's like, oh man, we want to make him more static, we want to make Draken more like straightforward and that sort of thing. It's like, okay, so you're completely changing who he is, cool. Whatever, maybe it can work. And then they just cut him anyway and they bring in Lekro where it's like I don't really like I like Lekro, but I don't really get Lekro on this team because I feel
Yeah,
like
where does he
Dennis,
fit?
Forest, and Lekro, and to some degree Rez are pretty similar. Like I feel like you don't need Lekro if you have Rez, and because like on CT side, what Lekro does, you can get out of Dennis and Forest. What he does on T side, I feel like Rez just straight up does better and has shown more promise towards. Like I think their roles are just fucked. Like even their like Dennis doesn't really want to be an in-game leader. Like I feel like Get Right and Forest are stuck in their roles and they like are untouchable. Like can't be kicked from this team. Like this team just feels like a fucking mess, dude. It's the same thing where it's like they just want to get all the same players on fucking payrolls and just ride this fucking train out. Like they don't really give a fuck. Like I don't know. At least it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, like it is gonna be nice to
So
watch the
many
train
frag
wreck.
movies. Like so much frag movie potential in that team. Like of Dennis, Forrest, Rez, Lekro, like all fucking sick aimers. Just terrible rolls.
And as we all know, roles don't matter if you can just get headshots, am I right, people?
Yep. It's how I mean, yeah. Best pug team all time.
I don't know, dude. Imperial. A legit pug team.
Yeah. I will say in general, like we have been like the last few teams have been a bit negative, but I think we're entering like a golden era for tier 2 CS. Like there's so many good teams right now and they're playing like really good Counter Strike and different levels of different types of Counter Strike. Like it's a really cool time right now. Just not for Happy and maybe not for Nip because Nip should be better.
Or just like Sweden in general, probably.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to like no more Sweden.
Just blow it up.
Yeah, blow it like blow it up,
Literally and
restart
figuratively, blow up
again.
the Swedish scene and also the country. Just sink it.
Yeah. No, yeah, so we've had enough of it. We don't want to watch this fucking shit anymore.
All right. That took a long time, but let's get to some segments here. So
Yeah, goddamn.
first up, Nuts and Pugs. We have a very interesting story this time in this installment of Nuts and Pugs. The story of a player called Docc. So Docc is he lives with his parents. He's like 17 or something, and his parents they're not big fans of gaming, which is ironic considering he is very good at video games. But he's been playing without a microphone and has somehow gotten in and then out of FPL.
So like the crazy thing that happened is he just suddenly he came up in this scene and everyone's like talking about this Doc guy and it's like okay, so he's this talented young Dutch guy, but he doesn't calm, right? And then he's saying that he's mute, and they're like, okay, and then he starts calming all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck? And then like there's this clip that comes out of like a stream, like a Twitch clip where he's saying that like he's like, oh, I never calmed because I was afraid that people would make fun of my voice, even though the voice is like pretty normal, just kind of has an accent, which is as would be expected from a fucking Dutch person. Uh, and then like he comes out and says like, no, actually I'm playing CS while screen sharing the fucking game to a friend who I'm also in Discord with, and then the friend sends the fucking comms to Doc, who then somehow puts them into the fucking FPL team speak. And apparently his friend was just lying for fucking meme's sake or whatever about him being afraid of being made fun of for his voice. And he's like, yeah, I can't calm because my parents are very religious and against gaming, so they won't let me talk whilst I'm playing. But like, there's also this thing where he has a very expensive gaming rig and he still streams all the fucking time and plays all the fucking time. And then Chris J comes out and said he offered to go either he comes to Chris J's house and he plays, or he goes to Doc's house and watches him plays because he's also Dutch, naturally. And like, and then apparently Doc is like, oh, I can't go, I'm not allowed, my parents. And then like, and then he stopped responding when he was like, oh, do you want to like, what if I come watch you play at your house? Blah blah. Like, and then it and it culminates with him just saying like, I'm 17, and when I turn 18, I'm gonna move out, I can stream and I can calm and all that shit, blah blah blah. And yeah, culminated in like FPL put a vote together for whether he was gonna be benched or let him stay, and yeah, it ends up with now he's fucking benched.
It's such a fucking weird and convoluted story. Like
To me, it's
it's
sorry,
kind
go
of
on.
sus, honestly.
Yeah, to me, it's like this could technically all be true, but like there's too many twists to the point where it's like I can't
He's just
I can't buy it. There's too many twists and turns.
yeah,
Like
he's
this
just
guy
kind of it feels like he's just kind of like making it up as he goes along.
like in terms of there's like a lot of conspiracies on it as well. Like to do a quick segment of visual meme. Uh the peanut brain image next to he is legit and just in an unfortunate situation right now, and then you have like the sort of like a mid brain image next to like he's a cheater just trying to like keep it on the down low, so if he gets caught he can just like fuck off and then reappear on a new account, you don't know who it is. And then like fucking huge fucking space brain image next to just like Docc is just Kaylee with a fake mustache.
That would be the
That's
ultimate
where I see
fucking
it.
twist.
Like it's just yeah, no Cammy, still yeah, Kaylee.
Like Kaylee got one of those fucking Mission Impossible masks. He's just it's just like entirely like human realistic. He's just a poor little Dutch boy.
Yeah, so it's just Doc's web of lies, just a little too thick. Can't can't buy it, unfortunately. I guess we'll see in like how whenever he turns 18, if he just disappears or starts like streaming properly.
He's off the grid. All right. Let's move on to please watch the podcast. It's your turn this week. So, what do you have for us that will attract many listeners?
Yeah, yeah, for the many incoming listeners. So I thought we'd need something that sort of gives back to the to the listeners to some degree, but also something that takes advantage of an ongoing event, you know, like a big notable one. So I thought since the World Cup is going on, we we can cut to football expert Jack to tell us who is going to win it, so that all listeners can bet, like mortgage their houses and bet on them for free money.
Yes. I thank you graciously for allowing my football expertise to shine here in this segment. So,
Yeah.
as we all know, Russia is the host country in this. And as we also know, FIFA is the most corrupt sporting organization in the history of man. So, since they've gotten placed in the easiest group and are all but guaranteed to go out unless like the worst team in the tournament, Saudi Arabia, somehow beats Uruguay, which has like decent international players. So unless that happens, like Russia's just automatically through. I
Hmm.
suspect that Russia will get like the best draw possible and will make it to the final somehow. And mysteriously, there'll be some interesting injuries for whatever great team makes it out of the gauntlet on the other side of the bracket. So I predict that Russia will win, and that Putin will get to hoist this trophy for his beloved country.
Yeah, no, that all adds up to me. Denis Cheryshev, fucking golden boot. There's I bet yeah they draw like Sweden, because like Sweden are having like a bunch of their players randomly going down with illness right now, and I bet they make it out of the group and draw Russia. Or
Huh.
like they make it to playoffs and they draw Guatemala, and it's like what they didn't qualify for the tournament. It's like what do you, it's like no, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
I don't know, man. Trinidad and Tobago's a wagon. They're gonna have to get through that.
Like like yeah, and anyone who speaks up gets that he unfortunately uh he succumbed to his depression, and he shot himself 3 times in the head. Like
Like it's pretty incredible too. Like we haven't seen that for a long time.
Yeah, it's like he gets and that's like one like so yeah, FIFA have like shoot him twice in the head, and then like one of Putin's guys comes in at the end, make sure he's gone. Like, yeah, so that's can confirm Russia to win the World Cup.
Yeah, bet as Tom said, mortgage your entire life savings, your house, just bet it all. Bet it all on corruption, because that's the only constant we'll have in this life.
I bet it all on FIFA's ability to rig another tournament.
All right, we have a new segment that has yet to be named. Uh, I propose something like unwashed, as players have started to crawl out from the dark depths. To highlight players that have crawled out from the dark depths to which they had succumbed previously. So who do you
Hmm.
have for us on this segment of that we like to call unwashed?
I kind of spoiled it before, but I think we have first of all we have AZ coming out. Like I think AZ is completely unwashed right now. Like he is filthy, absolutely filthy. Uh, and then going the other way, we have, as we said before, the entire nation of Sweden into the wash, like straight in.
Maybe we should have something that's like a laundry reference or something for this segment.
Yeah, just yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, but like there is definitely like a an eternal spin cycle that the Swedish scene has just like sealed themselves into. So something like that.
Like Olaf thought he could rise above, but in reality, he wants to get back in the spin cycle too. It just it just draws him in. He just can't help it.
Yeah. Though yeah, there is gonna be a big fight over like all these old like who gets the best old boy for their club.
I can't wait, man. It's gonna be great. like Flusha and Crims and are gonna be like, man, I remember when we won all these trophies together? And then the Nip guy's gonna be like, yeah, but you never got to play with us.
Maybe finally putting this dream team together, we can turn back the years and do what
Oh
we
wait.
always should have done.
Oh, but Dennis is also on that team, and Olaf and Dennis are close.
Oh, his best
Ooh,
friend. Oh, then it turns into like a fucking. Then it turns into like a daytime SERP shit where it's like,
dude, I'd
he's
pay
like,
money. I'd pay.
does he go back to the club he loves, or the man in his in who he holds closest to his heart?
Man, this is gonna be. I'm excited for Swedish soaps. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, and like, and just as he fucking like settles back in with like fucking Dennis in Nip or something, then his ex Pronax rolls back into town with the fucking team, like qualifies for the LAN. I don't know
My
why
old
Valve
flame.
don't let me. Yeah, I don't know why Valve don't let me write these fucking the narratives for CS, because like as naturally they do rig it. So that's
Well,
why
yeah,
VP are still like fucking winning games at all.
yeah. Like they're busy writing Half-Life 3. They don't have time to storyboard their competitive scene. All right. I think that's gonna do it for us today. It's been a long one, but it feels good to be back.
Back, we're back.
Back streets back. All right.